During his career, Sergio Leone crafted some truly memorable characters. The Man with No Name, Tuco, Noodles, Angel Eyes, Colonel Mortimer and Indio are just a few names from the impressive roster of Leone's collection. Leone almost single-handedly crafted the spaghetti western, the offshoot subgenre of traditional American westerns made by Italians and usually filmed in Spain. Trademarks included a grittier, meaner West, ruthless violence and the maestro Ennio Morricone. Leone was the spearhead of this film movement which, at the time, was often criticized and panned by the more refined and polished makers of American westerns. His Dollars trilogy is the pinnacle, the talisman of the genre. When he was done with his hyper-violent and stylized world, he moved on to Once Upon a Time in the West, a different sort of western. Where Leone injected steroids into American westerns to craft his Dollars trilogy, here he borrowed from the slower, more methodical and delicate world of the Japanese samurai films for his style of this western. It's one of cinema's finest myths that Leone chased the likes of Charles Bronson and Henry Fonda for the protagonist role in A Fistful of Dollars. Both refused the calling of this bizarre fat Italian, and Bronson even said the script was the worst he had ever read. Despite the movie's critical success, they both then rejected his advances when he wanted one of them for a few dollars more. By the time he had made The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Leone was so popular that when he made the offer to Bronson and Fonda, they both said yes. Who knows whether this is true or not, but either way it was a genius move to cast Henry Fonda, the classic American good guy, as the cold sociopath Frank. His introduction in the film alone, massacring an entire family including a child, set against the backdrop of Morricone's fierce harmonica theme, is mesmerizing and powerful. Leone wasn't shy to give his bad guys depth, and Frank has an arc and a conflict that is rare for villains of spaghetti westerns. One of the major themes of this film, which is often regarded as the swan song of the traditional western, is the death of the classic West as we know it, the end of gunslingers and bar fights, of horse chases and men who walk with their trusty pistols at their sides. The old West is dying, and it's being replaced by corporate America. The bad guys are no longer cowboys in hats, they're big faceless businesses. It no longer matters how many bullets are in your revolver, what matters is how much cash is in your pocket. In the movie, most of the characters are clearly established as being on one side, the Old West or the New. Harmonica and Cheyenne quite clearly belong in the Old West, and have no place in the New World, something which both characters acknowledge. Then we have Morton and his plans of big businesses, and Jill with the Sweetwater construction. Frank is caught in between both worlds. He tries his utmost best to move on from the old world and succeed in the new business one, but somewhere in between his numerous arguments with Morton, something lingering in the back of his head in the shape of Charles Bronson's harmonica. Something to do with death. He is simply unable. This is alluded to right in the first scene, the family massacre, as we later learn that Frank was actually instructed to simply scare the family by Morton. In spite of the evil actions the man commits throughout the film, fronted by his very first act, there is a sense of honor in the way he comes to realize he is not part of this new world, that he must die with the old one. He is not a businessman, he realizes, and in his own words, just a man. An ancient race, as Bronson's harmonica adds. All three men, Harmonica, Frank and Cheyenne, have no place in this new world. The unlikely duo seem to recognize this from the off, but it takes the entire course of the film for Frank to come to terms with the fact that his values and his code of life do not align with the likes of Morton and his ilk, but that of Harmonica and the justice of the gun. Once Harmonica dispenses his justice upon Frank, he leaves, knowing full well there is no place for this Western justice in this new world, this world of civilization, as represented by Jill. Frank's end signals the end of the lawless rule of the gun. Shortly after Cheyenne bows out, Harmonica takes his body and the two ride off into the distance, bringing to a gradual close the mythical law of the Old West, replaced by the mechanical marvel of the locomotive blazing through the new town, destined to prosper and take its place in the new America. Thanks for watching.